Hello everyone. Today we will be learning how to solve two-step equations involving division. Okay, so I want you to look at the warm-up question. So we learned how to multiply fractions. So do you remember how to do this? So we can simply multiply the top numbers and bottom numbers together. So 5 times 3, that is 15. 7 times 4, that is 28. So the answer is 15 over 28. So after solving it, you have to check if it is the lowest term. So there's no number that can divide both 15 and 28. So this is the lowest term. So the answer is 15 over 28. Next question. So let's multiply those two fractions. Okay, 6 times 21. So when you multiply 6 times 21, that is 126. 7 times 4, that is 28. So is this reducible? Yes, we can reduce top and bottom by, let's try 2 first. If you divide it by 2, then that becomes 63 over, so you're dividing by 2, 14. Okay, is there other numbers that can divide? They can divide 63 and 14. So yes, we can divide both number by 7. So let's divide both number by 7. Then that becomes 9 over 2. So 9 over 2 is the final answer. And if you want to change it to a mixed fraction, so 2 goes into 9 4 times, and 1 is the remainder. So the answer is 4 and 1 over 2. So this is how you reduce fraction. And we learned a shortcut. So you don't have to multiply those two numbers because the numbers are too big and it's not really easy to calculate. So what I'm going to do is the second method. I'm going to say this is method number 1 and method number 2. Second method, we diagonally reduce the numbers. Look at 6 and 4. Can you find the number that can divide 6 and 4? That is 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. What about 7 and 21? So both are divisible by 7. So 21 becomes 3 and 7 becomes 1. Now we're going to multiply 3 and 3, top and top together, and bottom together, 1 and 2. So that is 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 2 is 2. So the answer is 9 over 2. So which is same as method number 1. Okay, so if you change it to a mixed number, that's 4 and 1 over 2. So there are two methods. All right. Letter C. When you multiply a fraction and a whole number, you have to make the whole number to a fraction, 5 over 1. Okay, so we're multiplying the top together, 1 and 5 becomes 5. We're multiplying the bottom together, 2 and 1 it becomes 2. So 5 over 2. That is 2 and 1 over 2. D. Look at D, everyone. All right, again, everyone, we have 5 over 6 times 6 over 5. So this time we're going to just use method number 2. 5 and 5, we can reduce it diagonally. So 5 is divisible by 5 becomes 1. 5 is divisible by 5. And 6 and 6, same thing. 6 becomes 1, 6 becomes 1 because they're both divisible by 6. All right, then it becomes 1 times 1, 1 times 1, that is 1 over 1, and that is 1. Okay, so look at those two numbers, 5 over 6 and 6 over 5. So do you think there is a relationship between those two numbers? Right, if you flip this number, if you flip 5 over 6, it becomes 6 over 5. We call this reciprocal. So this is a reciprocal of this, and this is reciprocal of this. So when you multiply reciprocals, so reciprocal is basically flipped number, okay? So if you flip this number, it becomes 6 over 5. So when you multiply the reciprocals, it becomes 1. So remember that. So for example, when you have 2 over 3, what's the reciprocal of 2 over 3? That's 3 over 2. You can just flip it, simply flip it. So multiply it, then it becomes 1. Because you can diagonally reduce it. 1 and 1, 1 and 1, right? So it's 1. So multiply reciprocal is, when you multiply a reciprocal, then you get 1. Okay, warm up number 2. Which number could you multiply 3 over 7 by to get the product 1? So 3 over 7 times something should be 1. So you multiply, as I said, you multiply reciprocal. How'd you find the reciprocal? You can just simply flip the number. So 3 over 7, if you flip it, it becomes 7 over 3. So the answer is 7 over 3. Okay, next. Which number could you multiply 5 over 6 by to get the product 1? Same thing. We use the reciprocal. That is 6 over 5. Okay, do you guys understand that so far? Alright, let's move to the example question. Okay, everyone. When you solve two-step equations, I want you to remember 2 things. First, step number 1. Isolate the term with x. Step number 2, then isolate x. 2 steps, okay? It's a 2-step equations and you have to do 2 steps. Okay, look at A. So we're going to isolate the term with x, which is x over 4. To isolate x over 4, we have to remove minus 5. To remove minus 5, we have to do the opposite, inverse operation on both sides. So remember, whatever you do on one side, you have to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm adding 5 to the left-hand side, and I have to add 5 to the right-hand side. Alright, minus 5 plus 5 cancelled. And I have x over 4 isolated. Negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. Okay, so step number 1 is done. X over 4 equals negative 2. Step number 2, what I'm going to do is isolate x. Okay, to isolate x, we have to do an opposite, inverse operation. Okay, so I have division. So everyone remember, this bar is a division bar. It's the same as division. So x over 4. So this is same as x divided by 4 equals negative 2. So this division bar It's same as division, okay? So I want to cancel this division to isolate x. So I want to cancel this division. How do you cancel it? What's inverse operation of division? That is multiplication, okay? So we are multiplying 4 to remove division. Then x will be isolated. And negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. So that is the answer. X is negative 8. Next question. B. Negative p over 3 plus 1 equals negative 4. So we are isolating the term with p. Okay? To do that, we have to get rid of plus 1. So step number 1, isolate the term with p. So let's remove plus 1 by subtracting 1 from both sides. Then negative p over 3 equals, this will be cancelled, negative 4 minus 1. That is negative 5. All right, negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. Again, we are going to remove this division. So it's division bar, we're going to remove this. To do that, we have to multiply. So the opposite operation, inverse operation of division is multiplication. So to get rid of this, we're going to multiply. Multiply 3. Then everyone, this will be cancelled. Minus p will be isolated, negative 15. If minus p equals negative 15, everyone, p should be positive 15. Okay? So just to think that when you get rid of negative sign from here, you have to get rid of negative sign from the other side too. So p equals 15. Negative p equals negative 15, then p should be 15. So 15 is the answer. Alright everyone, some students are very confused with this. I'm just going to quickly explain how to do this. So say I have negative x, and that is 5. To find x, we don't want to find the negative x. We want to find what x is, okay? To find x, what you do is just simply move this negative sign to the other side. Then that becomes negative 5. Okay? Then what if I have negative x equals, say, negative 7? Then what is x? Okay, same thing. We can just simply move this negative sign to the other side. Then I have x equals negative 7. So everyone, what is negative 7? When you have negative signs are together, when you have negative signs are multiplied together, it becomes positive. Okay? So then x equals positive 7. So the answer is x equals 7. Okay? We can solve like this because, so you can just simply think this, when you have negative x equals 5, you're just simply same as multiplying negative 1, both sides. Then everyone, negative 1 times negative x becomes positive x, and 5 times negative 1 becomes negative 5. Same thing. So when you have negative x equals negative 7, you can just simply multiply negative 1, both sides. Negative 1 times negative x becomes positive x. Negative 7 times negative 1 becomes positive 7. Okay? So this is how you solve it when you get negative x. And you have to find x by moving the negative sign to the other side. So can you guys do this? Okay, next. C. You have 2 over 3 x minus 1. So first step, we're going to isolate the term with x by adding 1 to both sides. So I have 2 over 3x. Cancelled. 9 plus 1, 10. Alright everyone. And we want to know what x is. To find x, we're going to use the reciprocal because we want to get rid of this number. To get rid of that number, we have to make this number to be 1. We want to make this number be 1. Alright? So I'm going to multiply the reciprocal. What's the reciprocal, everyone? Yeah, you can just simply flip the number to find the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply 3 over 2. 3 over 2, both sides. So remember everyone, when you multiply reciprocal, you get 1. Because you can just cancel, 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 cancel. It becomes 1, okay? So that is 1 times x equals 10 times 3 over 2. So what's 10 times 3 over 2? So we simply make 10 be 10 over 1, 3 over 2, and let's multiply it. So 10 and 2 is reducible, and 1 and 3 not reducible. Therefore, 1 times x is just x. You can omit 1 all the time. 5 times 3 is 15. 1 times 1 is 1. So x is 15 over 1. We usually omit over 1. So the final answer, x will be 15. So this is the answer. Alright? Next question. -4 over 5y plus 5 equals -3. Again, we're going to isolate the term with y first and then isolate y. Okay, let's subtract 5. Subtract 5. Then it becomes -4 over 5. Y equals -3 minus 5 is -8. Okay? Alright. After that, what we're going to do is we're going to find the reciprocal. Okay? Oh, before we move on, I want you to look at this. When you have -4 over 5, so you can put this negative sign anywhere. On the top, either on the top or in the bottom. They are the same number. So you can just choose one of those to solve the problem. So I chose to put the negative sign on the top. Doesn't matter. -4 over 5, y equals -8. Okay, so we want to get rid of this number. We're going to multiply the reciprocal. So let's flip it. And we do the same thing here. Let's flip it. Okay. Then this part will be gone. This part, 1, 1, 1, 1. When you multiply reciprocal, it becomes 1. So I have 1y. And here, -8 times 5 over -4. So -8 is -8 over 1 times 5 over -4. Right? Okay. Then everyone, -8 over 1 times 5 over -4. So we are going to reduce it. -4 becomes 1, -8 becomes +2. Okay, so we're reducing it by -4. So -4 divided by -4 is +1. -8 divided by -4 is +2. Okay, then y will be 2 times 5, which is 10, and 1 times 1, which is 1. So the answer is the final answer is y equals positive 10. All right. Okay, let's move to the your turn question. So I want you to pause the video and try those 4 questions by yourself. Okay? All right. Have you guys tried those 4 questions? Okay, let's go over it together. Okay, again, we're doing 2 steps. Okay, we have to isolate the term with x and then isolate x. So let's isolate the term with x. So we are adding 6. Negative x over 12 equals 10. Since this is division, you have to multiply. Multiply 12. Then I have negative x equals 120. Okay, again, when you have negative x, to find x, you can simply move this negative sign to the other side. Then x will be negative 120, right? B. Right, okay, so everyone, k over 7 plus 3. So here, everyone, 3, it has the sign in front of it. It's a plus 3. So we're going to get rid of plus 3. So this plus is not a sign of this 3, okay? So this plus is a sign of k over 7. Okay, don't get confused. We have plus 3 because if there's no sign, that means that is plus, okay? We're going to get rid of this plus 3 by subtracting 3 from both sides. Okay, negative 4 minus 3, that is negative 7. So this will be cancelled. We have plus k over 7. So we usually omit this plus sign. Okay, so I'm not going to write it. K over 7. Okay, now we're going to get rid of this division by multiplying 7. Multiplying 7. And that becomes negative 49. So k equals negative 49. Okay. I'm going to give you an example because some students are very confused with this. Okay, say I have negative 4 equals 3 minus k over 7. Some students think this negative sign belongs to this 3, which is not true. This negative, this minus, belongs to k over 7. Okay? Then what is the sign of 3? Right, that is positive. That is plus. Okay? What we want to do is isolate the term with k, including the negative sign. This is the term with k. To do that, we have to get rid of this number by subtracting 3. Then this will be gone. Then we have negative 7. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7 equals negative k over 7. Okay? Then, to find k, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 7 because I want to get rid of this division. Then that is negative 49. Then negative k will be negative 49. Then k will be positive 49. So be careful. So this one has positive here, but this positive belongs to k over 7. This one has negative here, and that negative sign belongs to k over 7. Okay? It's not really related to this 3. This negative sign is not for this 3. This negative sign belongs to k over 7. So we have to look at the number, and you have to look at the number right in front of it. See if it is positive or negative. If there's no sign, that means that it's positive. Okay, let's move on to C. All right, now we're going to isolate the term with x by adding 5. Then that is negative 7 over 8x. Then 9 plus 5 equals 14. Okay, again, we have to get rid of this using the reciprocal. 8 over negative 7 times 8 over negative 7. Okay, then this becomes 1. X will be isolated. And this is 14 over 1 times 8 over negative 7. So we're going to reduce diagonally. Negative 7 becomes negative 1. 14 becomes 2. Okay, we're dividing both number by 7. Then x will be 2 times 8, that is 16. 1 times negative 1, that is negative 1. So 16 divided by negative 1. So this is same as 16 divided by negative 1. So when you divide with a positive number and negative number, it becomes negative. 16 divided by negative 1 becomes 16. So the answer, final answer, is 16. Negative 16, sorry. Next. Okay, same thing. We're going to isolate the term with y by subtracting 7. So 5 over 6y equals negative 3 minus 7. Negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10. And we're going to multiply 6 over 5. 6 over 5, right? This part becomes 1. So it's 1y. 1 is omitted. Negative 10 over 1 times 6 over 5. Alright, 5 becomes 1, negative 10 becomes negative 2. So the final answer, y will be negative 2 times 6, negative 12. 1 times 1, 1. The final answer will be negative 12. Okay. Next question. Example 2. During the 2006 and 7 NHL season, Christine Huselius of the Calgary Flames had a total of 41, more than half the number of shots on goals as Jerome Iginla. So I wanted to highlight this. Okay, if Huselius had 173 shots on goals, how many did Iginla have? When you solve a word problem, you always need to start with a let statement. Okay, so we're going to do this using 3 steps. Step number 1, let statement. So basically, you're defining your x. Okay, so let x be. So your x is usually, you can find the x usually at the end of the sentence. So how many did Iginla have? So we want to know how many shots on goals Iginla had. So we say the number of shots on goal Iginla had. So we're going to let x be the number of shots on goal Iginla had. Okay, and step number 2, equation. So we're going to make an equation. Using x. Okay, to make an equation, we have to look at the sentence. So 41 more than. half the number of shots on goals as Jerome Iginla. Okay, everyone, 41 more than. Everyone, 41 more than. Is that more than is addition or subtraction? More than is addition. Okay? So 41 more. So we have to add 41 to this number. 1 over 2, half the number of shots on goals is Jerome Iginla. Okay, half the number of is multiplication, everyone. Half the number of, half times shots on goal as Jerome Iginla. So we define this to be x. So that is 1 over 2 times x. So the equation will be 1 over 2 times x, and we have to add 41 plus 41. That is equal to 173 shots. Because Christian Huselius had 41 more than half the number of shots on goals as Jerome Iginla. And that is, it says that is 173 shots. Okay, so this is the equation. We usually omit multiplication, so when we rewrite it, it will be 1 over 2x plus 41 equals 173. All right, now we're going to solve the equation. So let's isolate 1 over 2 by subtracting 41. That is 1 over 2x equals 133. Then 1 over 2. So we're going to multiply the reciprocal. Then x will be isolated. Then that will be 2. If you multiply 132 times 2, you can omit this over 1. Then that will be 264. So the answer is 264. Okay, this is how you solve the word problems. Okay, remember 3 steps. Step number 1, let statement. Step number 2, make an equation. Step number 3, solve the equation. Okay? Alright, that is it for today, everyone. Now I want you to start doing your homework. Thank you.